Every successful person got there by going through tough times. Success is a hard-ass teacher who likes to knock you around along that journey. You know, it takes real guts to not give up and keep going. We'll hear stories about failures and how these leaders flip the script to create success. I'm John Schultz. Join me and let's discover how success is never really overnight. Today, David Meltzer. I'm so excited. A little bit about David. He's the co-founder of Sports One Marketing. He's the former CEO of Lee Steinberg's sports and entertainment agency, the inspiration to Jerry Maguire. Show Me the Money. I had to say it. I can't help it. I love that frickin' movie. His life's mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. I love that. A 3-time international best-selling author, top 100 business coach, executive producer of Apple's TV's 2-Minute Drill and Office Hours, which is great. The executive producer of Entrepreneur Magazine's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch. He's the author of Game Time Decision Making, the recipient of Ellis Island Medal of Honor, a Variety Magazine Sports Humanitarian of the Year Award, which is terrific, and chairman of Unstoppable Foundation. I love all these words. They're just perfect for you. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate this. I've been wanting to meet you for a while. So how are you?
Well, I want to meet you as well. And as you read that off, I always think my mom, who's downstairs right now, staying with me, I know she's thinking, yeah, but my other son's a doctor. So it works
Listen,
out
we
well.
all have our niche and our little calling, as you know, from your story. So I want to get going. I love hearing about people when they're younger, like what were they like? So can you tell us about the David Meltzer growing up? I know you have a large family and a single mother, which just mentioned you're with your mom now. I love that. Give us a little, background on that.
Yeah. So, my dad left when I was 5 and left my mom single with, 6 children, 5 boys and a girl. Unlike my siblings followed my mom's mantra of doctor, lawyer, or failure. They were your typical, Jewish children that listened to their mom and studied really, really hard. And they ended up doing extremely well in academics, Harvard, Penn, Columbia, summa cum laude, the whole bit, national merit finalists, and all the fun stuff that you get with that. And I had a different objective as a young boy. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be rich to buy my mom. I totally see your heart making me cry, dude. Buy my mom a house and a car. The only time I wasn't happy. I had this remarkable childhood. I was abused when I was 9. Shit happened to me, but there was so much love from my mom and my family that the only time I wasn't truly happy was when, the dishwasher broke or the car broke down or my mom was crying and I, would sneak up on her and she was so stressed over money. And I said to myself, I can solve this. I have the capability, and it's not going to be through knowing OChem or biochem or, political science. It's going to be to hustle. And I learned to enjoy the hustle. And I defined the hustle as being consistent and persistent in pursuit of my potential. So I didn't want to listen to anyone else. Several people along the way would have said, hey, Dave's either going to end up super rich and successful or in jail. That was the where I was going. And this was a very scarce world, but luckily I, at a very early age, reached my objective. And then I had a bunch of other issues to face. But as a young man, I was money. My nickname was Money. I was money driven.
Listen, you love the action. Obviously, you took a different route than your brothers and your family, but that's okay. That's what makes the world what it is. So, my mantra for this show is the myth to overnight success. And you bucked the trend at the beginning, right? From law school, right, to a millionaire, crazy fast. Obviously, that's bucking the trend. So tell us what happened, how you got there, and then where it went from there as far as, the issues you had to deal with being successful so early, even though, you're still here and you're still successful.
Well, there's so many young entrepreneurs that make a lot of money, but I don't think I bucked the trend. I think I started early. I started paying attention and giving intention to making money at 5. So if you utilize the years, by the time I was 24, I spent 19 years, and I always say it's about an average of 17 and a half years overnight success. I just started earlier. And, I think that's one thing that people need to see. I don't believe there's any overnight successes. I don't think you can buck the trend unless someone gives you something, right? You
Right.
inherit money, good, you buck the trend,
But
but you
that's not
didn't earn it.
necessarily success, right? That's just money.
Exactly.
Right.
But I was like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is not an overnight golf success. He just started when he was 4,
Listen,
and
Mark Zuckerberg too. I mean, like you think he's overnight. He was like from before
yeah,
college, right? So I agree with you.
yeah. So what I really teach and what I've learned is Einstein, right? I think behavior aggregates the same as money. Compound interest, aggregation, acceleration is especially true with behavior. And so what I learned through my journey at 54 is that I wanted to get rid of the negative behaviors that aggregated in my life, because here's the mathematical equation. If you look at how things compound, it takes about 90% of the journey, 90% of the effort in order to get a result that's noticeable. This is true in finance. You got to save about 90% of the time to get something that's notable. Then it doubles and gets very noticeable. Then it doubles again and gets extremely noticeable. Then it doubles again if you have enough time, or you can accelerate the span of time in which it's doubling. So everything doubles upon itself only if you're consistent and persistent in the pursuit of that effect or outcome. And the best way to do it is to detach your emotions from the outcome, put it into the journey and enjoy that. And you can get this aggregate effect, but we have to be cognizant of the negative side of it as well. So if you're drinking for 18 years and you're like, oh, I've handled this kind of drinking and partying for 18 years. Well, just wait till it doubles in the next year and then doubles again. All of a
Yeah,
sudden your life could be ruined or even over.
I agree. I think compounding, listen, compounding effect of money, of anything, working out, eating right. It's like these little, bursts of what you do every day that matter consistently, right? Like doing it the full 30 days, like you say, not the 28 days and the whole cheat day thing, right? But okay, so 17 years, and I liked hearing that, right? Because if you read about you, it looks like it happened very quickly. So now you are the myth to overnight success. So you fit this show, which is great. So you started out and you did really well, right? And then things started tipping in weird directions for you. It's almost like it did take a long time, but you maybe were young and maybe not mature enough to handle it. Like what broke you down and what made you go into that different direction?
Well, I started to believe my own bullshit. I hope I can swear, but I did. And I started to aggregate negative behaviors and surround myself with the wrong people and the wrong ideas. You see, when I was young, I had these great role models like my mom, like my uncle, who was a physician, who was about, the old fashioned work ethic and, what it took. And I also was involved in sports, which required, because I was very little talent. I was average talent at best, but it required me to really have that attention and intention in order to create, what is average success as a college athlete, a Division III college athlete. But what happened was those negative behaviors started to aggregate onto themselves. And all of a sudden I couldn't control the
So was it
bad.
negative behavior? So the audience can know, was it because you thought it was all about you, that you were in control,
I,
that you actually were the one that, that it
beautifully said,
mattered for
right?
everyone? Or is
I,
that what
I didn't
happened?
believe in God, right? I didn't believe that. I believe I was in control and that, I made everything happen. My nickname was Midas, or money, money. Everything I touched turned to gold. And I knew I didn't know what I didn't know, but I pretended like I did and projected that ego onto everything. And I had a lot of lessons to learn about radical humility. And I was serving the wrong God. I was serving the God of money, thinking of good intentions that it would help my mom, and it escalated into being my identity. And I started to serve a God that was much bigger than me, omniscient, all powerful, all knowing God that protected me and promoted me. And I had to make a shift in that paradigm in my life from, I'm going to go get everything, I'm going to get wealthy, get healthy, get worthy, I'm going to get happy, to I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? And I started to serve others and to serve goodness instead of serving that God of money.
Right. So everyone knows, I mean, you literally had $100 million worth of stuff, whatever that was at the time,
Golf
houses,
course, ski
cars,
mountain, real estate. Yeah.
and it all blew out, right? You lost it all.
Yep.
So where did you dig deep down to push forward that next day? Like where it actually all hit you and you knew you lost everything, right? How did it happen?
For me, I was prepared for it. 2 years before I lost everything was the true turning point, that quantum shift for me, because three elevated red flags happened. One, when I was 30, my dad gave me a jacket with no pockets for my birthday present. And I was furious at him. I told him, "How dare you?" Like, he said, "You're just like me. You're all about money. Money can't buy you love or happiness. So I got you this jacket to remind you that you can't take anything with you." I told him, "I hate you. You're a liar, a cheater, manipulator, overseller, back-end seller. I'm nothing like you." 6 years later, I'm running Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agency in the world. I asked my best friend to go to the Masters. He basically tells me the same thing. "I'm not going with you, bro. I don't like who you are and who you hang out with." I told him, "I hate you. You're so ungrateful. I'm a great friend taking you to the Masters." 2 weeks later, I come home from lying to my wife. I went to the Grammy Awards with Little John the rapper and lied to her. She waited up till 5:30 in the morning and told me she was leaving. She told me I better take stock in who I was, what I wanted to become, because I was going to end up dead. I told her I hated her. How dare she talks to me that way? Look around you. Who do you think made all this happen? I remember going like this with my hand. Who do you think made all this happen? I'll show you. I'll take everything from you, including your happiness. I woke up in the morning thinking I'm going to get the best lawyer in the world and take what I thought was her happiness, her money. And God willing or knowing, I looked in that closet and there was that jacket, just
I
as if
love
I
it.
hated everything. And I realized I don't hate my dad. I don't hate my best friend. And I certainly don't hate my wife, the most extraordinary person who's ever been with me. I hated myself. I was a liar, a cheater, manipulator, overseller, back end seller. I was living out of my own values. And that's when I started to live with gratitude again, accountability and forgiveness, and living inspired, not just motivated, getting up, getting back up, getting started, getting back started, but inspired, in spirit, something bigger than me. And for 16 years. So when I went bankrupt, I spent one day, right? That first day, just going, oh my, I mean, because it was a terrible day. I had to go tell my mom, right, that I went bankrupt, and two, that I lost her house because I didn't take my name off of the title.
Yeah,
And
your
that
whole
she,
dream just blew up in smoke, right? That's
the
terrible.
universe is awesome, right? Could you imagine like how
The
ironic
lessons.
that is, that the only reason I wanted to be rich was to buy that house, and I had to take it from her, and she had to move. But she didn't even flinch. She just told me, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" And that day, I said, if I can look up, I can get up. I know exactly what to do, and I need to practice these values. I don't need just to talk about them to people. I need to practice them. Stop talking the talk. Now it's time to walk the walk again, Dave. You proved this once before. Let's do it the right way by being radically humble and of service. You're not in control. And that's where the Michael Singers of the world, Surrender Experiment, the
Yeah.
habits that I had for all these different things, Napoleon Hill, The Course in Miracles, Wayne Dyer. I started studying all these people, and it changed my life.
Did you ever read that book from Jen Sincero, a badass, or you got to be a badass? It's great. It's a
Yes,
great book.
great book.
So all right. So you started learning, which it's hard to learn because society promotes this, all that outside, like this, that outside stuff mattered. So now you had to revert inside and like be self-aware for yourself and change yourself. And what I always get questions asked from young people entering business, changing careers, like to them, it's all about the outside stuff. So they feel they have to do those things to actually get ahead. What were your changes that made you actually, first of all, feel better about yourself to be good for other people? Because if you're not good for yourself, you cannot be good for other people. And then how did you develop the patience to take on this attitude that you're going to explain right now against what society pushes on us, dude? I mean, like like it's hard. It's like because you feel you have to get somewhere when you're younger. So how did you do that?
I use math and I use daily activities. One thing that I learned by studying was that today is the only real day that we have, meaning the man-made constructs of time, space, the quantification is only really today. Yesterday is all relative, and tomorrow and beyond is all relative. You give meaning to both. For example, my bankruptcy now is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. It's the same exact thing that happened to me, but I've given a meaning to it because the past is relative. But today, so I created practices every day in a trajectory towards an unrealistic objective in the future, not attaching my emotions to it. In fact, telling myself from what I learned today by doing my best, learning lessons and having fun, I'm going to change my direction tomorrow because I am on a plan to learn, to grow, to accelerate. So I came up with this formula, daily practices, which have evolved. Every day I look at what I want, not what other people want, not what's missing or what I don't have, what I want personally today, experientially today, giving today, and most importantly, receiving, because I can't give what I don't have. That makes it a possibility for the day. Then I think about who can I help with what I want and who can help me. In fact, my daily prayer is, may God put at least 10 people in front of me I can help with what I want. And two, may God give me 10 people to help me get what I want. So the what and the who are critical, because then I go from a possibility to a probability. Then I think about how. And this is where I reconcile time with productivity, meaning how productive am I, accessibility, how accessible am I to others, and accessing what I want. And most importantly, I'm one of the few people that reconciles time with gratitude, meaning I'm a toptimist. I believe there's light, love, and lessons in everyone and everything. But the distinction that I make later on in life now is it worth my time today to seek it? So if you're an a-hole, I don't want to waste my time because you're bleeding me. I'd rather spend it with time with people that feed me. And so every day I reconcile.
So you don't, you're not, so you say no, like you
Yeah.
actually, clarify what that means, right? Which
Correct.
you're
Every
not
day.
just like a roller coaster running through, you're actually clarifying.
And you nailed point 4. Daily practice 4 is know your now, learn to prioritize what's important to you. And most people can't. Prioritization is the antidote to procrastination and feeling overwhelmed. People who know what they want, who they can help, and how to get it done, and prioritize it as such, have no ever problem being overwhelmed or procrastinating. They know exactly what to do next. Then, if you know all 4 of those things, the 5th step is to apply your why, not search for it. And the way we apply our why is simply to identify that which interferes with what we want. Health, happiness, wealth, worthiness, whatever it is. But if we can practice identifying the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, all these different things, worrying, complaining, if you can identify those, instead of resisting it, outlogicking it, or analyzing it, just stopping, breathing through the nose, out through the mouth, getting to center, and then remember, and recollect. If you don't have faith, think about what those words say. What are you reminding to, remembering with, or recollecting from? What you want, who you can help, and how to get it done. Reprioritize, and now you're applying your why all day.
But you're allowed to have those feelings, right? You're allowed to have those feelings. Because a lot of the younger people feel like if they have them, there's something wrong, but that's not the case. And how do you, with this new sort of method, which is really, first of all, how many times have you been wrong a week, right? Like people don't realize most of my rights were from the wrongs. They were not because I knew what I was doing. I'm admitting it right now. Most of the time it's because it went wrong and I was able to pivot. How has that been for you? And do you feel that's part of why you're successful?
Yeah, for sure. I have changed the mistakes, setbacks, and failures every day from being punished to being promoted and protected. See, I don't exchange what I do know and pretend to exchange it with what I don't know. Today or yesterday, we saw how many billions of galaxies exist. So if there's that many,
that was cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, especially for guys our age. But
yeah,
but it changes your whole perspective, because number one, if that doesn't give you humility, that there's trillions of variables, so that if you lose everything, or the girlfriend breaks up with you, or you don't get into Stanford Law School, you're being protected and promoted. There's no way you know that this is punishment, that this is a bad thing. There's trillions of variables. So what you want to do is expand and grow and accelerate along with the universe by learning as many things as you can. Pain is an indicator that you have a lesson to learn. The biggest misuse of time, Jonathan, this is awesome, right? So time exists between cause and effect, cause and outcome. The biggest misuse of time is between problems and solutions. We don't realize the solutions is within the problem. Pain is the indicator. The setbacks, failures, and mistakes are the indicator that you're growing, learning, and promoting and protecting yourself, not punishing yourself.
No, I totally agree. How about that one like star in the middle? Like it was unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah.
And like it just shows there's something way bigger than us, right? That is for us and trying to help us. You know, I have a happenstance journal because most of the things that have been good for me happen through me pushing through, and a happenstance occurs. Someone called me, but if you're not open for it or to it, it's going to keep passing you right by, right? That's why it can't be all about you.
As we finish up, I got to give you the happenstance mathematical formula that I created. Is perfect.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
What you pay attention to and what you give the 5 levels of intention to, everything you think, say, do, believe, and feel, equals the coincidences or the happenstances of your life. Attention plus intention equals happenstance.
Well, you know what? I find the more I allow, the more they keep piling on. And I'll go back and read that book every 6 months and say, it just gives me confidence, right? Like, it's not about me. As much as you get stuck, you got to just keep saying, it's not about you. Keep open, keep forward, and things will happen. I know you have a hard stop. This was too short for me, but that's
we'll do it
fine.
Again. We'll do it again.
We'll do
and
it
I'll
again.
have you on my shows.
I so appreciate you to be able to be so vulnerable and have this humility that you have, and to show people that success can have that, because most people don't see that behind the scenes is tremendous. DavidMeltzer.com. Like, where else can people learn about your stuff? I said some of it, but what do you want people to focus on about you?
If they could email me, David@dmeltzer.com, I'll send the daily practices and values. I'll even sign a book for your audience, ship it, pay for shipping for everyone. David@dmeltzer.com. And if you forget, just email me. I'm blessed. David Meltzer, I'll come up and you'll find me.
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for this. Everyone's going to love this, and I appreciate it.
This is just a start. We're going to do more shows together both ways, because I love to learn more about you as well. I have a saying, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you so much.
Take care.